Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode of the Tech ChitChat Show. My name is Ken from Northern Viking Everyday and Northern Viking Explorer on YouTube. I'm here with my co-host, Steven, 8-Bit Warrior on Twitter, and Steven Loney on YouTube. How are you today, Steven?
I'm doing good. It's a good Monday morning. How about yourself?
Can't complain for Mondays. So I'm like, why did we choose to do this on a Monday morning?
So we get it done with.
Is that why? So we get it over with. We never want to do this again.
I don't want to talk with you anymore.
No. Awesome. You have a good weekend?
Yeah. Yeah. Good, relaxing weekend. Feel ready to go for the rest of the week. So it's been good. How about yourself?
Yeah, it was good. We made it out to the lake yesterday and just got to sit around and do not too much. Saturday was busy, but yeah. So
good.
Nice to be back at it today. I've got my coffee and I'm all set. Probably actually my second coffee, but hey.
Mine too.
Awesome. That's what happens. You need lots of coffee when you do this on Monday mornings. Yeah. Well, we have some kind of funny news to start out with this week with our first topic. It's kind of a continuation of last week. I kind of brought up last week. We talked about the beavers biting through the internet fiber cable here in British Columbia, and I brought up an old article that I'd read, and we found it, and so this town, let me pull it up here. Old TV breaks the town's internet. So over in, let me get this town's name straight. I don't even know how to say this. Aberhosen, a small town in somewhere.
in Wales. It's in Wales.
In Wales, because I can't say that word. Maybe I'll try. Meshnileth. Awesome. Every day at 7 a.m. lost their broadband for 18 months straight, and they couldn't figure out what was going on. And it just so happens that this team of engineers, I guess, came there during COVID-19, and they ran a spectrum analyzer. And sure enough, at 7 a.m. every day, there was this massive electrical noise that went out. And it turns out it was this old TV from Mr. Jones.
So when he would turn it on, and when he'd get up in the morning with his cup of coffee and turn his TV on, he would shut down the broadband internet for the whole town.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's awesome.
So I'm assuming it was like an older tube TV with an older standard.
It must have been, and he felt really bad about it, so he stopped using it.
I hope the town bought him a new TV.
Well, that's what I was thinking, because I'm like, it still works. I still want to use this TV, and now I can't.
He was probably an older man, probably with an old TV, and every morning he'd get up, good old,
Well, it's kind of like, can you imagine we hit record on our little podcast show here, and all of a sudden everybody's internet in the neighborhood shuts down because we hit record? It's kind of the same thing.
Right. Well, with that, it was funny because we're talking about this last week, and there's a YouTuber that I actually listen to on a regular basis. And he usually he does a live stream usually once or twice a week, and he hasn't had issues until last couple of weeks. He started getting freezing, this weird freezing issue. And he was talking about telling people, saying, hey, I've changed up hardware, I've been changing the router, changing things, nothing's working. He had the internet guys come out from the company, checking it, and they think it was something to do with the connection at the main connection of the line somewhere. Turns out, he updated us, and turned out they've traced it was kind of like this story, to a neighbor who had a dog who chewed a cable, some sort of cable, and was likewise causing interference to go back into the network of the neighborhood. So because a neighbor dog had chewed a cable in someone's house,
it's gnawing on the cable.
Yeah, and that was wrecking. And so because he's a YouTuber who needed the upload speed, he was the one who noticed it. But it was apparently a dog chewing a cable. So whether it's a man turning on his old tube TV, or a dog chewing a cable,
or beavers.
Or beavers. You know, how do you fix? I mean, sometimes in my family, like, Steven, can you fix internet? I can't fix those things all the time. Like, you know, you just can't solve those things unless you have a whole team coming to, like, you know,
They need
yeah.
to stop making the fiber cables taste like donuts. That's the problem. The outer sleeve tastes like a donut or
And
a
maple
pizza.
syrup in Canada here. That's
Yeah.
probably what.
The dogs and beavers just can't control themselves.
No. So if you have internet issues, you never know what the actual reason is. It could be
Yeah.
much more interesting than you imagine.
Go check
So
your yard for raccoons. It could be the problem.
raccoons, beavers, dogs, old TVs.
or people just stealing your Wi-Fi.
Or that. I'm
and,
thinking
and
next time.
uploading all their stuff.
Yeah, I'm thinking next time if you have an internet issue, should I go to the next door neighbor and knock on their door and ask what they're doing?
Ask if there are beavers chewing through your internet cable. Cool. All right, let's move on. Atari. Did you have an old Atari when you were a kid?
My family did just before. Yeah, vaguely. I remember seeing the cartridges, but I never got to play it myself that I know of. But yeah, we did.
Okay.
But I never got to really play it firsthand as a kid. I just missed out on it and got the NES, the Nintendo.
Okay.
But it has some nostalgia for me.
We had a Coleco 2600, which I don't know how this wouldn't fly today. It was a Coleco 2600 that played Atari 2600 games. So it'd be like if you had some brand of console that played Switch games. I don't know if there was an agreement or not, but yeah, we had a whole bunch of games. Mario Brothers, not Super Mario, but Mario Brothers, Jungle Hunt, Frontline, Frogs and Flies. There were some good games.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because now you wouldn't think to cross consoles like that.
No,
but I think at that point it was still like kind of fuzzy. What was what?
Yeah, it was more like how PC is. It doesn't matter what brand of PC you have, you can still play the game.
Yeah.
But so the Atari VCS. Let's pull this up here. I've been hearing about this. I feel like this story, the Atari VCS. I mean, I've been hearing about it for years, and I've been wondering where it went because I hadn't really heard anything about it. And so it looks like they finally kind of started to ship to some of the backers. It was crowdfunded, and it started to ship to some of the backers. But this article is kind of talking about the Atari VCS doesn't really know what it is. Is it a console or is it a PC?
Yeah, right.
And it looks pretty cool. Like it actually looks like when you look at it, it looks like an old Atari.
Yeah, I think they nailed it for the design. Like
other than the keyboard and mouse here, but
I don't know if that's official keyboard though.
No, gotcha.
Yeah, but I think they were just showing in the article here that like you can plug it in as a computer.
Yeah. Well, like the controller, like it looks great. It looks just like the old one. So, what are your thoughts on this and what it can do and why there might be confusion?
Yeah, so I can see why they're saying that, like, what is it trying to be? Because at the heart of it, it's basically an AMD APU architecture. So it's basically like, think of like an AMD laptop or something. Like, it's kind of like, it has Vega 3 graphics on it. You can find that in like laptops and things like that, or APU, CPUs from AMD. Mm-hmm. And so because it's just like pretty much off the shelf AMD parts to a degree, like I think there's maybe some stuff maybe they've done custom, but I think it's, for the most part at least, I think it's off the shelf parts that you can buy. You can basically build your own one of these things, I think. Is that it's quite open, I believe. Like I think this article's showing how you can set up even as a Windows 10 PC. Like you can convert it into whatever you want, basically. You could take it, you could literally buy this and basically just turn it into a computer and not even worry about the whole Atari stuff.
Okay.
So with that said, though, it does come with, I believe, their own, I think Atari has its own kind of like OS version with it. It's probably a form of Linux, some form.
Okay.
And I think it does have its own storefront and things. I think to purchase like old classic Atari games, and maybe I can't remember the deals they've worked out, but they might have some newer games you can buy with it. But it does largely feel like you could just make it a PC. It's kind of like just a PC with its own custom little bit of stuff in there. It's
Well,
cool.
yeah.
But
So a price tag of $399, but what I'm kind of wondering is, so you've got this. Why, like, is it going to get hacked and people are just going to be able to buy the games on their PC and not even need the console? Like, can you just buy a Atari controller and use it with your PC?
well, you can already still do that.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. No, but are people not going to buy it because they're just wondering why, like, just play it on your PC instead? Or is it just the novelty that it kind of looks like an Atari?
I think largely at this point, I think it would be novelty.
Okay.
And to their credit, it looks like they've put together something that's not garbage. Like, it's actually, I think, decent hardware. So it's like, worst case scenario, even if the Atari store went down and that whole thing failed, you can still use it as a media PC or even a light gaming PC. Like,
Sure.
Worst case scenario, this whole thing flops. You still have a little decent computer that you can tuck in something that looks cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
So the fact that they've been working on this for a few years now, what kind of games do you think it can play? Like, is it going to have? Will it have the same games as the PS5 and the Xbox, or
no,
or is it not even capable of that?
It's not capable of that. Like, maybe some of the lighter games and stuff, it probably could. There's probably quite a few lighter games that there could be crossover. But when it comes to the big titles, like, the Call of Duties and Battlefields and all that, no, it's not up to spec. It would probably be closer in line more to, like, kind of somewhere between a PS3 and a PS4, like, between kind of performance at some point there. So you're going, yeah, it could do stuff, but it's not going to be getting I don't see it getting the major titles and things.
Gotcha.
It may get like a lot of indie games and stuff like that. And some, it'll be interesting to see. Maybe they pull something off and they get some good deals with developers, but don't know.
Cool. Interesting. Yeah, it's kind of just a fun throwback anyhow.
Yeah, it looks cool.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
Do you have $3, Stephen? Or 270 pesos?
I have a couple toonies around the corner, but not pesos.
Okay, you said toonies, and half of our audience is not going to know what that is.
They can figure it out. You can Google it.
Or a loony.
Or a loony. A loony, toonie's just two loonies. Anyways.
Okay, do you have a toonie and a loony? Or 270 pesos? Because if you were in Argentina and you had the right timing, you would have been able to buy Google Argentina's domain name. All I have to say is whoops.
Yeah. So how did that happen?
Wow. So there's this web designer guy. Let's find his name here. Nicholas Corona.
Yeah.
Who noticed that that Google Argentina was not working properly. And he went to the NIC, so the Network Information Center of Argentina, and to his surprise, Google Argentina was available for sale, and he purchased it for 270 pesos, or a toonie and a loony, which is the equivalent of $3.
Right. That's not bad for the price of coffee.
It depends where you're buying your coffee, because.
So what did you do this morning? Well, I just purchased, the Google domain name for.
Well, okay. So let's clarify this a little bit. So the domain name was not set to expire until July. So there is an error in the system that somehow there was a glitch that he was able to purchase this. Google does still own it, and it's all sorted out. But it is a rather funny story that he was able to buy this domain name.
Right.
And can you imagine? I mean, I hear it every now and then that a company let their domain name lapse and then someone else picks it up. And I mean, It doesn't happen with massive companies, I hope. But you do hear, stuff like that happening.
Yeah,
Um,
it is interesting. I mean, yeah. I mean, the guy's not wrong. Like, if you saw Google domain open, would you buy it?
sure. It
Like,
could.
and you knew that it would probably come back on you. Not like you'd probably know something would happen. But it's like,
Mhm.
well, if I don't, someone else will. So,
Yeah. Well, especially if it was google.com.
yeah. Well, even the .ca, man. If you got the .ca come up, if you notice that,
for 270 pesos.
no, for a couple toonies,
Yeah.
I think I, you know,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm wondering why that happened. It makes me wonder because a while back, I bought a domain name that I originally tried to get, and it wasn't available. And I checked later, and it was available. I'm like, oh, and then I bought it, and I was kind of surprised. Did I mistakenly buy a domain name that a guy shouldn't have come up? But
Yeah.
because someone else wasn't really well known, could they not fight it? So it's like, does this happen more commonly to people
Yeah.
all the time, but they can't fight it because they're not a big name? So did I buy a website once off somebody I wasn't supposed to? Like, I doubt it. It's probably not the
Yeah.
case. But it's like, I don't know. Maybe I did that on a smaller scale.
But I bought a domain and then decided and not done anything with it and then decided I wasn't going to use it a year later.
Yeah, and no, that's commonly what happens. But the person buying, if there's someone been waiting for that domain to come up, they don't
Mhm.
know if it like they don't know if it's a glitch or not. Like this guy, I mean, with Google, it's easy to assume it was a mistake.
Yeah.
But if they're not a big company, you don't know this. So, is this a more common issue, or is it just a weird, you know?
I just think it's funny. And I'm just like, where do you buy a domain for $3? I'm buying mine from the wrong places.
Yeah. Maybe the Argentinian sites are cheaper, the domain names, but we don't buy sites for $3.
No, I think when I renew my site, it's around $20.
Yeah.
So it's a fair bit more than $3, but
I wonder if he purchased the Who domain privacy thing. The Who is. Do you think he slapped that onto his $3 purchase?
And then Google doesn't know who bought it.
And they can't trace him down. He's
that's great. All right. We've got a Yahoo of a deal for you this morning.
Yahoo.
Yahoo. Do you still use Yahoo?
I have a Yahoo email address when I need to sign up for like things that are not probably the best things to sign up for. So I have an old email address from Yahoo, but don't really use it.
Does it have numbers in it?
No, it doesn't.
Like the cool guy 16792.
No, it's actually.
You don't have to put it on air. That's not what I'm asking.
No, it partly has my name in. I don't want to say what it is, but anyway, we'll just. I'm not going to say.
So Verizon is selling AOL and Yahoo Media Group for $5 billion. And this was kind of, we saw an article the other day that it was looking like it would happen. And today it looks like it is happening. And I thought this was kind of interesting. I know we were chatting about them selling it for $5 billion because this other article here talks about that they bought it for $9 billion. So clearly the value is sliding. But there are some valuable assets in this article here on CNBC talks about some of the valuable assets that they have. And I would agree with some of these. I know a lot of people still use Yahoo Finance. Okay. It's probably one of the better websites for tracking stocks and that sort of thing. So that's probably one of the bigger valuable portions of it. They've got Yahoo Fantasy, which is mobile sports betting. They've got some ad technology. And I was even surprised about this one, and this is why I asked you if you still use Yahoo email. It says 1 in 4 Americans still use Yahoo Mail.
Okay, that shocks me. Like, in one sense, it doesn't at this point but yeah, that surprises me. Like 1 in 4.
Yeah.
When you have like, but when here on day to day, do you meet anybody who uses Yahoo? No.
No.
Like, so here we are. It's like rare, like
Yeah.
rare, totally rare.
I'm surprised when someone still uses Hotmail.
Right, and when that happens, like there's the odd person who does.
Well, I still have a Hotmail account too that's my give out to random things.
Yeah.
But then, because more now, I don't know that you can get. Oh, you can maybe still get it, but Microsoft has switched to Outlook, right? So it's usually an Outlook email address,
right,
that people are getting. So even when I hear Hotmail, I'm like, oh, that's old. So I feel like Yahoo was almost like before Hotmail, like it was, or at least similar timing. So it just seems weird to me that when people would say a Yahoo address, but
yeah. Well, then there's also the AOL. No, sorry, there was the Yahoo. Well, they had the Messenger. There was the AOL Messenger, and I think I may have even used a Yahoo Messenger for a time, and I don't remember why.
Yeah, I feel like they were a thing.
So, like, do 1 in 4 people still use Yahoo Messenger as well, or like AOL Messenger? Like, is that still a thing?
They can only message 1 in 4 people.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, is that you get these split up groups of people, and then I don't know, it's kind of weird. It's also very like fascinating to me. It's like,
So are you telling me you don't have Yahoo Messenger on your phone?
I don't know. Do I?
I don't know.
That's a good question. Like,
we should download it and try and message each other.
Yeah, we have our own private like Yahoo chats. We can start a chit chat Yahoo club.
Yeah, Yahoo.
But are there like whole towns in like rural America where like they just use Yahoo?
Maybe this town in Wales.
Yeah, they all use Yahoo. Yeah, because if they use Gmail, it crashes their internet.
Yeah, Yahoo crashes internet in Wales.
Yeah, I don't know. I just find it fascinating when you hear of these products and companies that you thought were like dead, like are still alive, kicking in some areas.
Like all of a sudden you hear like BlackBerry releases a new phone, or Nokia, or like weird things like that you haven't heard of in years, or an Atari.
An Atari. Well, and then there was even a time when I remember hearing about like Amazon, probably like 10 years back or so, and I thought, they're still around, like they're not going to make it, right? And now it's like they're like the biggest company, and it's kind of like, okay, I can eat my words or thoughts on that one. So you don't know, like maybe because at one time I thought of Amazon like I thought of Yahoo right now. That was similar
as a book company.
Yeah, I'm thinking, how are they? Like, I thought they should have died with the .net.com boom. That they should have just died out. There was a time when I thought of Amazon like I thought of Yahoo, kind of now. So who's to say that the Yahoo name doesn't make a return and do something? I was wrong then, but I find it fun when these old companies, things from the '90s and early 2000s, show up again. It's like, hey, you're still around.
Yeah. So yeah, soon you'll have kangaroo shoes again. Did you not have kangaroo shoes as a kid?
I don't know what you're talking about.
They have like little pockets in them and stuff.
I was barely the 80s kid. You were the 80s kid. Okay.
Well, after we're done here, you can Google search kangaroo shoes.
Maybe you'll put up a picture of kangaroo shoes on here for us.
I'll try and find some. I will try and find some. All right. This is more down your alley.
Yes.
DDR5, the future of RAM. Dun, 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 dun. So, Let me pull this up here. We are all over the place today. There is a memory maker in memory maker. There is a memory maker in China that is teasing DDR5 10,000 megahertz RAM.
Right.
That's some heavy duty RAM.
Yeah. So when it comes to memory modules, like your standard PC memory, that's fast. So this is talking about DDR5. The current standard right now is DDR4. I'm actually still running DDR3 on my computer, so I'm, a couple generations back here. But so this is talking about DDR5, which is kind of the newest and latest and greatest RAM coming out. It's not even on the market yet for most people. I think we were discussing earlier, maybe this article mentions about it's planned, DDR5 in general is planned to become available with Intel in 2022, and then with the Ryzen 4 chips.
So this was so there's two articles. There's one about this company. What are they? NETAC. So they're teasing the 10,000 megahertz RAM in DDR5, and then Samsung is kind of teasing the 512 gigabyte single stick DDR5 RAM, and this one talks more about for your general consumer. So it did come out. DDR5 is apparently already out. I've never seen any, but it's for the general consumer. It's not. Where is it in here somewhere? It's not expected to come out till here it is. 2022. So for Alder Lake, for Intel's Alder Lake, and then for AMD's Zen 4 architecture.
Okay.
So
we're a little ways out from it being on the store shelf.
So it was released in July 2020. So, but I think that's more.
It's probably server grade and stuff like that.
Yeah. So,
and that's what
would this? Yeah. So, like, what would this mean to the average person and their computer?
Probably not much. to the everyday person, this is great. Like, this is cool stuff. So what it might do is it might bring down pricing on the not extreme products. So if the more extreme end of speed of RAM and capacity of RAM goes up, it may bring down the price of the more reasonable stuff. So that's one possibility on an everyday level. Because like I said, I'm still running DDR3, and my computer, mind you, I'm running a quad channel, which is a different thing. But generally, DDR3 is even still fast enough for a lot of stuff for the everyday user. And we're on DDR4 even, which is faster than that. So for the everyday person, not much. But I mean, in general, the higher capacity. So first with the first company, NETAC in China, they're talking about this 10,000 megahertz, this 10 gigahertz chip, which is like twice as fast as like the current fastest like DDR4 chips or whatnot. And for most applications, that's overkill. And it's fast. That means like tons of bandwidth. It means you can transfer tons of data really quickly. But a lot of applications just don't need it. So here's the one consideration for the 10,000 megahertz RAM is for applications like gaming, it's actually not ideal because you can have really fast RAM, but there's also something called latency of how quickly it can get from point A to point B to transfer data. When you're playing a game, you want short latency. And so this fast RAM actually has longer, so I'm getting technical here. This super fast RAM has actually longer latency. It's actually not ideal for tasks like gaming and stuff. So for gamers, you actually wouldn't want this. You'd actually want smaller capacity RAM with shorter latency times to allow for quick frames for the game to render. So those are just things like faster doesn't always mean better. There's more considerations to RAM. And then when it comes to the capacity from Samsung and this massive 512 gig, like that's cool. I would enjoy having a couple sticks of that on my computer and having like a terabyte of RAM and never having to worry about, like my whole computer just gets put onto the RAM and it's fast. That's cool. And that might mean that within 5 years, it might be standard to see like 32, 64 gig systems of RAM sold on the shelf as normal. That might be what that means. And it just means that RAM is like going to be just really affordable
Yeah.
But
Well,
yeah.
I mean, it's the future's changing and just speeds are improving like they always are.
And the other thing I might add though too on the server grade, if this makes things cheaper for server grade stuff, it might make services more affordable. Server, like if you purchase server,
Okay.
you know what I mean? Like if you're even someone who wants to purchase a Minecraft server to play with friends, it might be cheaper because it's cheaper for the server company to have more RAM and stuff. So
Yeah.
it might make server hosting services cheaper, more affordable. That could be
Yeah.
an everyday.
That's true. We don't
So,
always see like the back end of things and how that
yeah,
affects us. So
yeah, yeah,
cool. Yeah, I think it's exciting to see what's going to come down the road in the next few years with
yeah.
with RAM. So that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I have a question of the day for you.
Okay.
Do you still use Yahoo or AOL?
Technically, yes.
I might if I went to and really like dug through some old paperwork, be able to find an email address.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd ever find the password to an AOL or sorry, a Yahoo email address. I'd never be able to log in, but
I think I've had that maybe happen and I've had to do like the retrieve the password for it. I feel like this is so on a technicality, I think it's a yes. I think like you.
yeah.
But beyond that, it's been a long time since.
Although the question is, do you still use a Yahoo or AOL password? AOL account is was You've Got Mail? You know, the little red flag thing.
Yeah,
Was that AOL?
I think so. You've got mail.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
think so. Okay, can I just say what I miss though? For me, just quickly, is
Yeah,
I do miss getting the AOL discs in the mail. I miss getting
that's true.
the discs, and then you would just like collect these have like these random AOL discs that show up, and they always felt cool to have, but like never used them. I don't know why.
A stack of AOL discs.
I kind of wish I still had one that I could show right now from
Yeah,
AOL. You got like AOL 4.0. It's like, ooh, but
yeah.
never used it. Anyway.
Well, okay. Do you still use AOL?
And can I add a bonus
Yahoo?
question?
Sure.
Do any of you still have a AOL disc? Does anyone out there have one? If so, please let us know.
Yeah, write it in the comments. Let us know if a beaver is chewed through your internet. Let us know if your TV stops your internet from working. And let us know if you know what a toonie and a loony is, or in the comment section below. All right. Well, that has been episode 7 of the Tech ChitChat Show. We had fun with you today, and we appreciate you all watching and listening. Remember to like and subscribe on YouTube and all the podcasting platforms. Until next time, thanks and take care.